Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to Ultra Instinct Tarot. My name is Andres, and I will be the one taking care of you for this reading. As always, I will be receiving the help from these three homies. Sagittarius. All right. So, goal of the channel is to go Ultra Instinct, to not think, but to let your body think for you. Let your mind think for you. Let your emotions think for you. Like an octopus, imagine being an octopus and having that many arms, that many tentacles. You have that many tools that can be used to look at anything from different perspectives. And we're going to start with the inner voice, which would be the one controlling all of the tentacles. Would be the one that can watch the mind, the body, and the heart. Watch all three of them from the inside. Number 2, this is a major arcana. So this would be a perspective that's, bigger than us. A perspective that would be from outside our perspective. Ooh. And the doorbell is ringing. Okay, so I'm going to translate the doorbell ringing as this is your inner voice screaming and ringing, banging on the door. The inner voice speaks not in words, but in the wordless language of the heart. It is like an oracle who only speaks the truth. If it had a face, it would be like the face at the center of this card, alert, watchful, and able to accept both the dark and the light, symbolized by the two hands holding the crystal. The crystal itself represents the clarity that comes from transcending all dualities. The inner voice can also be playful and dives deep into the emotions and emerges again to soar towards the sky, like two dolphins dancing in the waters of life. Yeah, this feels almost like a fish. It's been swimming around its whole life, and then it gets caught in a fishing pole, and then it goes up in the air, and that's a different perspective, seeing things from up in the air. And all your whole life you've been just swimming in the ocean, and there's all this crazy cool weird stuff that is up in the air that is not in the water. Like two dolphins dancing in the waters of life. It is connected with the cosmos through the crescent moon crown and the earth as represented by the green leaves on the figure's kimono. There are times in our lives when too many voices seem to be pulling us this way and that. Our very confusion in such situations is a reminder to seek silence and centering within. Only then are we able to hear our truth. That's pretty cool. That goes with the tentacles and letting your body think for you, letting your mind think for you, letting your heart think for you. And then the inner voice is the one that's listening to all of them. And the inner voice is the one that can see and understand the reason for all of them. So it is the one that will make the best choice out of all of them or the best blending of the choices, that whatever it needed to be, the inner voice can see. If you have found your truth within yourself, there is nothing more in this whole existence to find. Truth is functioning through you. When you open your eyes, it is truth opening his eyes. When you close your eyes, it is truth who is closing its eyes. This is a tremendous meditation. If you can simply understand the device, you don't have to do anything. Whatever you are doing is being done by truth. You are walking, it is truth. You are sleeping, it is truth resting. You are speaking, it is truth speaking. You are silent, it is truth that it is silent. This is one of the most simple meditation techniques. Slowly, everything settles by the simple formula. And then there is no need for the technique. When you are cured, throw away the meditation, you throw away the medicine. Then you live as truth, alive, radiant, contented, blissful, a song unto yourself. Your whole life becomes a prayer without any words, or better to say, a prayerfulness, a grace, a beauty which does not belong to our mundane world, a ray of light coming from the beyond into the darkness of our world. I mean, when Goku went out to instincts, that was definitely the creator. Interesting, and it's pointing up, huh? The shoes are red, the bottom of the shoes. So that's also red. Fire, the will, movement. Fire doesn't stop moving, even if it's still. It doesn't. It just keeps on moving, keeps on swimming. This is the king of fire, the creator. Interesting. The inner voice is connected to the creator. The Zen master in this card has harnessed the energy of fire and is able to use it for creation rather than destruction. He invites us to recognize and participate with him in the understanding that belongs to those who have mastered the fires of passion, without repressing them or allowing them to get destructive and out of balance. Interesting. This is definitely imbalanced, this inner voice. He is so integrated that there is no longer any differences between who he is inside and who he is in the world outside. That reminds me of the when you are sleeping, it is truth sleeping. When you are talking, it is truth talking. He offers this gift of understanding and integration to all those who come to him. The gift of creative light that comes from the center of his being. The King of Fire tells us that anything that we undertake now, with the understanding that comes from maturity, with taking into perspective this inner voice that can see all, it will bring enrichment to our own lives and to the lives of others. Using whatever skills you have, whatever you have learned from your own life experience, it is time to express yourself. And there's an inner card, and this is definitely an outer card of listening to that inner voice and then expressing it. There are two types of creators in the world. One type of creator works with objects. A poet, a painter. They work with objects, they create things. The other type of creator, the mystic, creates himself. He doesn't work with objects, he works with the subject. He works on himself, his own being. He is the real creator, the real poet, because he makes himself into a masterpiece. This feels like in Westworld, where you have the guy they're all making the robots. So imagine this human vessel is also a robot that needs to be worked on, just like those robots needed to be worked on and tuned in. And sometimes we get sick, sometimes we need to take rest and heal. Sometimes, everything is in tune and we just roll. But that is the real creator, the real poet, because he makes himself into a masterpiece. You are carrying a masterpiece hidden within you. Interesting, that inner voice. But you are standing in the way. Just move aside. Then the masterpiece, interesting, because you think you are the body and the mind and the emotions, but you step aside and the inner voice comes out. And the masterpiece will be revealed. Everyone is a masterpiece because God never gives birth to anything less than that. The simple fact that you can be seen and are alive means that you were created. There was a fire, there was a movement, there was a reason to not be still anymore. The masterpiece will be revealed. Everyone is a masterpiece. Everyone carries that masterpiece hidden for many lives, not knowing who they are and just trying on the surface to become someone. Drop the idea of becoming someone, because you are already a masterpiece. You cannot be improved. You have only to come to it, to know it, to realize it. God has himself created you. You cannot be improved. You can only do your best. Whatever you are good at, that is why you couldn't be improved. Because when you follow your passions, when you follow what you're meant to be, the reason you were created, the reason there was movement, the reason the stillness wanted to move, then that you can do no wrong. Even if mistakes happen, that doesn't mean wrong happened. Those are two different words. So you can do no wrong when you find this inner voice, this face, this creator. Yeah. More fire. Nice. 3 of Wands. Virtue. In the tree of life, we are above the abyss, still in things that are bigger than us. We are in the understanding. When the reflection understands that the one in the mirror, that the reflection is in fact himself, and the simple understanding of that creates this third persona instead of this one this one, and it's mirrored, and this is this one that understands. This one is different than this one, but it's the same. Understanding, virtue, want. My dog says, 3 of Wands. So if you have one person that moves and then there's a mirror, let's say this is the mirror. So when this moves, that's going to follow it. But when this one doesn't know that that's this one in the just mirrored, so it's just going to follow it. Now if I go like this and it moves and I get scared and I move some more, this thing's going to move some more, which is going to cause me to freak out more. But if you know you're the one moving and it's just following you, then you wouldn't be freaked out, because then you would be like, huh? And then it would be like, huh? And then you could not freak out when you understand. You act differently than when you didn't understand. 3 of Wands. Virtue. Lord of established strength. Soul and Aries. Graphically, this card is one of the simplest in the entire decks. Interesting, I said decks. And holds closely to the Golden Dawn model. Harris skillfully uses each of the 10 colors of the scales to present 3 gold and amber lotus wands trimmed in scarlet and set upon an orange background of brilliant flames. That reminds me of this card still. They are almost same. They are same. The effect is one not only of brilliance, but of immense heat. It represents the primal solar energy that first penetrates the soil in spring to awaken seeds that have slumbered all winter. Along with the aces and twos, the other cards representing the supernal triad of the Tree of Life, Crowley holds all the threes in particular veneration. The aces are the unmanifest roots of their element and suit, and the twos represent the element and suit manifested as ideas. But with the threes, Crowley argues, the idea has become fertilized. The triangle has been formulated. In each case, the idea is of a certain stability which can never be upset, but from which a child can issue. In tarot, that child is the remaining small cards, the fours, through the tens, everything under the abyss. And this is the Three of Wands, Virtue, where the rest of the small cards can issue. What a truly noble and well-respected card this is. The Sun is in Aries, the sign of his exaltation, and couldn't be happier. Furthermore, this harmonious and energetic marriage takes place in the third Sephira, Bina, adding slime understanding to the mix. The great power and the will to use that power that we saw represented by the Two of Wands has now become fertilized and expressed in terms of character as virtue. Interesting. That reminds me of this. The inner voice is listened to, the whole reason the thing was created, the whole reason to move, to get up in the morning, the whole reason of movement from all the stillness that was up in the abyss is ready to come forth. It has now become fertilized and can be expressed in terms of character as virtue, and great power and the will to use that power is now coming to light. Interesting, coming to light. And the sun is coming up on this card, it looks like. Knight of Disc. This is slow harvest. The slowest of the night cards, or the Prince cards. The Knight of Discs of Earth. This feels like a huge slowdown compared to all of this movement that we had. Having to listen and getting to the inner voice, the creator movement, and then this is finally like, oof, like the end of a roller coaster ride, where you can take a breath. The Knight of Discs. This is like the King of Pentacles. King of Discs. The Knight of Disc is unique among his brother knights. He appears to be the shortest in stature. He rides a workhorse that seems to be more concerned with eyeing the lush grass than with conveying his rider. His helmet is completely raised, and he gazes at the fertile fields and hills as if in contemplation of harvest, not battle. His flail dangles near the grasses, suggesting thrashing of wheat rather than thrashing of heads. And his shield is a disc that could double as a dish that could hold enough food to feed a village. Am I making this up just because I'm hungry and dinner is late? Not at all. Crowley writes that the function of the Knight of Discs is entirely confined to the production of food. So that can be very literal right here, Sagittarius, but it also could be just whatever it is, that this passion that we keep talking about from over here, this reason of movement coming to center voice, whatever the center voice sees. It's like the whole reason it was, to be here. Why would you want to be here? Well, what would you want to do since you're here for a short amount of time? And then it's like all this movement showing you exactly what you need to be seeing. And then this is the man that has seen it and that knows. So now he slows down, and instead of battle, he is focused on his wheat, on growing his wheat, on his harvest, on the things he wants to work on, things he wants to do. So this is the beginning of a project, not the end of it. This is the hard work. This is the barely knowing, all the movement that it caused for you to get to a position to where you're finally working on your harvest. So there's a lot of movement. Your life could have turned upside down, but all to point you towards this harvest that you've been wanting forever. And, ignoring this could be a reason of depression, of feeling sad. But as soon as you start your harvest, then it's all chill. It's all glory. It's all nice. It's all this inner voice. This creator is also chilling. All this movement is leading you towards this chilling of what you want to do. Even if you're working hard, if you're working on something you love, it feels easy. If you're doing something fun, if it feels like play, when the time passes by very slowly, and then you feel like you have all the energy in the world, all of this explosion. And that's where you want to be. The Ten of Swords, interesting. Okay, so he's looking up. He doesn't want that. He would rather be up here where there's stillness and not a lot going on. No more battle. No more battle for this guy. Even the horse is like, nah, I'm good. I want this harvest. I don't want to feel like that Ten of Swords anymore. See, and sometimes it needs to get to this point for, this knight to be like, okay, I don't want this anymore. All this movement that leads you towards this harvest. See, he was like, oh, nope, never mind. Not anymore. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm going to listen to my inner voice. See, even this is, this guy's going like this, and then the moon is going like this. They're all just... But I'll read the Ten of Swords as well. I'll read it to see if this is something you want. You prefer instead of this Knight of Discs. Breakdown, defeat, failure, ruin, relief, closure. Following the Fool on her journey through the swords, you could see her coming to a painful end. She has found herself in conflict and under stress. Unable to harness the sword's positive energy, she found herself tempted by its power. She was left with paranoia and fear, knowing that she had used the swords unwisely. Her fears were finally confirmed, leaving her defeated. As a problem that you have tried to outrun for so long finally caught up with you. Have your worst fears been realized? Will situations at home or work are coming to a head? Has hitting rock bottom given you a sense of relief? Yeah, there is a sense of relief of this this inner voice will definitely give this sense of relief after a long battle. This guy has also been through a long battle. Face your worst fears. Often when we confront our fears, even when we are forced to, they are not as bad as we had imagined. Compared to the constant state of anxiety, it may even be liberating. Yeah, imagine not having to think about it anymore. Take some comfort in no longer worrying about whether it can or can't happen. Recognize lessons. Consider all this a learning experience and take stock of your regrets. Think of what changes you would like to make once you have survived and healed from this ordeal. Yeah, this is just seeing bad things, and turning them into gold. What can we learn from all of this horribleness that happened? And turning it into gold, into wheat, into the sun. Rise. Yes, this guy is in control of his dogs. The Chariot, I'm always going to explain it this way, is if you've ever walked a dog, it's simple. He might pull you, you might be in sync, but when you have two dogs, it's way different than walking one dog, because then at one point, if one dog wants to go right, the other wants to go left, and if your body wants to go one way, your mind wants to go another, and your heart wants to go another way, then it's kind of hard to keep walking. If one dog goes back and one dog goes forward, then you're not going anywhere. But if you listen to an inner voice, as soon as the two dogs start going the same direction, the same direction, then oh my goodness, you walk so much fast. You walk so much faster than just walking one dog. You just move so fast. And this is the Chariot. When both dogs are in sync and go in the same direction, and You go fast. So it's kind of simple, you know. See all this fast, and it's still slow. It still feels like time has gone by very fast, but all the fun that you've had, you know. I don't know honestly on that last one, but yes, the Chariot. As soon as you figure out this isn't what you want, it's easy to pick this. Very quickly, things will start turning into your favor. The creator, as soon as he's like, finally, this kid is finding out why he's been, created, and the whole reason is that why wouldn't it be the best feelings with the reason that we were created? Just like sex feels so good. Why? Because we are meant to make babies. That's why it feels good. So that we know we should probably make babies. This is a good thing. The things that feel bad are probably bad things, These guys are on the same page. This is literally, your body, your mind, your heart, all arguing, going different directions. And the inner voice is the one that can pull them together and make them focus in the same direction. Then things will start happening very quickly, Sagittarius, as soon as you listen to that inner voice. 3. The inner voice can be screaming at you. Jump. That's what it's screaming. So it'll be right in the moment. It will be screaming at you, forcing you to listen. This is going to be no time passing by, like we said. You just gotta... Michael says it's about doing, not thinking. Just jump. Universe will be there to catch you with your own fun, bouncy castle. You are Braveheart, man. Yes, Charles, you wanted me. Okay, cool. Okay, affirmations and manifestations. Okay, Kelly waits by the office and says, yes, Charles, you wanted me. Kelly's thinking that if she says it enough, eventually he will in fact want her. This is the basis of affirmations and manifestations. This is about new patterns. After being in this Ten of Swords for so long, after being in this battle for so long, all of this movement will happen for, kind of getting you to see this is kind of what I want. More slow. This, no battle. Like that. This is the Ten of Swords that we want. Where we can create something new. That's more chill. Affirmations. If you are not confident but wish to be, say to yourself in the mirror every single morning, I am confident. Even if it's not true, if you don't believe it, it is a huge difference than telling yourself, I am not confident, every single day. So now take the last step. Confident people don't need to tell themselves that they are confident, they just are confident. So just be confident. And manifestations. Remind yourself what it is that you want in your life every day. Make it a part of your everyday pattern, and remind yourself of what it is you are trying to manifest in your life. When you consistently make it a part of your pattern, you will somehow find a way to have what you want in life. Affirmations and manifestations are all about replacing an old pattern with a new one. And this is your body, your mind, your heart, all being focused on the same thing. Okay. So I don't think this is about deception. I think the important thing is that something is hidden. This inner voice is hidden. And but it will be loud at the same time. Things don't seem the way that they seem. This Ten of Swords, this isn't the way we want things to be. More information is needed. Gotta listen to this. Pause before making decisions. Keep an eye out as information is about to appear. And as soon as it appears, don't pause anymore. Thank you for being here, Sagittarius. And don't forget to just jump and go for it. It's about doing, not thinking, going ultra instinct.
Debo resignarme a que no estés, aunque esté muy triste, ya no lloraré.